they come around.
Vous ne vous rendez pas compte à qui vous avez affaire.
I'm Robert Wilson. People know about me because in 1964-65, Arnold Penzias and I discovered what we call cosmic background radiation. It is noise left over from the Big Bang, and it proves the existence of the Big Bang and gives us a very early picture now of what the universe looked like at approximately 380,000 years of age. The earliest information we have about our universe.
What was your reaction when you discovered the Big Bang? Was it like when the guy said, like, you know that the Earth is a big balloon?
Ding, ding. Galileo, Galileo, Galileo Figaro. Magnifico.
Once those things were out and published, I think the community accepted that very quickly. You know, in many cases when there's a sort of scientific revolution, you have to wait for the old guys to die off. But in this case, I think the steady state theory was dying of other problems, and people were very happy to take on the Big Bang theory.
I've seen a lot of video on the internet. When you type Big Bang origin, you have some Muslim videos.
This verse of the Holy Quran speaks about the Big Bang theory in a nutshell.
Who tells that in the religion and the Quran they say the same thing than you. What do you think about it?
I'm happy for the religious people to be happy with it because it's sort of the natural thing that the universe had a beginning and things built up. It fits with science, and it's the sort of story that people would invent in their religions.
Can we talk about sci-fi movies and TV shows? Can you tell me from a scientific point of view if it's credible? Okay?
Okay.
Is it possible to travel at the light of speed, like in Star Wars?
To go at the speed of light?
Yeah.
It would take a huge amount of energy.
Prepare ship for light speed.
No, light speed is too slow.
Light speed too slow?
Yes, we're gonna have to go right to ludicrous speed.
Well, we can take a proton and accelerate it to the speed of light, but we can't take anything really that is of human scale and accelerate it that fast. It would just take much more energy stored in the rocket than even the mass of the thing we're accelerating. And certainly it's impossible to go faster than the speed of light.
Is it possible to use quantic energy to travel in time, like in Quantum Leap with Scott Bakula?
Oh, pretty unlikely. You're saying, can we beam me up or something? Beam me up, Scotty, take me apart and reassemble my atoms, or reassemble a new set of atoms in the other place? That's pretty fantastic. There's so much state in a human body that we're nowhere near doing it, and I don't think we ever will be.
What do you think about time travel? Is it possible or not?
Depends on how you define it. Certainly, if I were to go out and orbit the Earth a while and come back, I would be ever so slightly younger than I would have been had I not done that, from your point of view. That's relativity, and that's true. But going back into the past, that seems very unlikely. That would actually be a huge upset to physics, I think, because it would destroy causality. The old thing of what happens if I go back and kill my grandmother before she had my mother. It just produces a universe that's connected in ways that seem completely illogical.
If it's not possible to go into the past, is it possible to go to the future, or it's the same?
Same thing. Well, I guess people talk about having themselves frozen in liquid nitrogen. But I think we're a long way from that. I guess very simple life forms can be frozen and in suspended animation. So I wouldn't rule it out completely. We might be able to be in suspended animation some way and then come back later in the future, but not in any way that we could then return to now.
Have you seen Interstellar?
I haven't seen it yet.
Would it be possible, like in the film, to travel between a lot of universes?
Oh, people have talked about wormholes, but they seem pretty unlikely. If we went down such a thing, there's some chance we might be torn apart in the process because of the huge forces involved. So I don't think that's going to be a routine thing at all.
We know how old is the world. Can we know when will it end?
What's going to happen to the Earth? It could be that something goes wrong and our climate changes drastically. That's not the end of the Earth, though. The thing that's really going to kill the Earth is when the sun gets to the end of its present stage. It's what we call a main sequence star. It is turning hydrogen into helium in a very normal way, and at some point it'll start running out of hydrogen. And at that point, it actually, rather than getting dimmer, it'll get brighter. And not only that, a little later, it will expand, and eventually it will incorporate the Earth, and that will surely destroy the Earth. But that's another 4 or 5 billion years. I don't remember the exact number, but that's the thing which will definitely put an end to the Earth.
Do you think there is life after death and parallel universe?
I don't think there'll be anything more. I've never heard of any evidence or imagine any other thing which could exist. Could be wrong, but that's my opinion. There may be other universes. In fact, the current ideas of inflation starting the Big Bang, especially if the recent BICEP 2 results turn out to be correct, would rather naturally lead to a multiverse where there would be many, many different Big Bangs. They would never intersect, but there would be all of these other universes. Call them parallel if you want. It's hard to wrap your head around infinite. If there's an infinite number of them, then maybe there are another pair of people talking as we are, but that seems pretty fantastic.
If another universe exists, can we talk about extraterrestrial peoples and can they live among us?
Seems unlikely they're on Earth unless they're something extremely different from us.
Marcel Vincent les a vus. Cela a commencé par l'atterrissage d'un engin spatial venu d'ailleurs. Marcel Vincent sait que les envahisseurs sont là.
I certainly believe that somewhere out there, in the billions of stars in our galaxy and billions of galaxies, that there's other life. It just occurred too easily on Earth. Almost as soon as life could have existed, it did on Earth, and so it undoubtedly exists other places. The real question is whether there are other intelligent life that is within a distance that will ever communicate, and a distance both in space and time, as in how long will our civilization last in a way that we could communicate with other people. Is it a short time? Is it a long time? If we reach equilibrium and other people reach equilibrium, then I can imagine our having a communication and knowing that they exist. If we're just a blip and we go away and other similar developing things, life forms go away, humans evolved in a very different system where the Earth was their Garden of Eden. You go kill whatever you want and eat it. chop down whatever you want, and there's always a lot more. Now we're in the situation where we're becoming dominant. And the question is, will people really adapt properly to that? Religions say, religions got where they are by telling people to reproduce, because that makes more of that religion. That is evolutionarily a good thing for a religion to do. But eventually we have to stop that. We have to learn how our economies can work without growth in number of people. So if all that can happen, I would expect one of these centuries will find other life.
Marcel Vincent, seul, doit se méfier de tout et de tout le monde.
Tu vois combien?
26,92. Un PC des Brahim, monsieur Vincent.
Écoutez, mon colonel, vous seul pouvez m'aider, mais il faut agir vite. Ils sont là, parmi nous.
But I don't think they're here.
Je te jure, on va tous les niquer.
We've talked about science fiction like Star Wars and the light of speed, the time travel, Back to the Future. Can we talk about something that I don't understand, which is Nicki Minaj booty?
Excuse me, repeat the last part of the sentence.
Like, in science fiction we have the Nicki Minaj.
My anaconda don't want none unless you got buns, hun.
Do you see who is Nicki Minaj? She has like a small body and a really big booty, and I think that there is a problem about the gravity. How do you explain that?
I'm sorry, I still don't. I guess I'm not aware of this science fiction context.
Look at her butt.
Can you say it one more time? Maybe you have a small body.
A small body.
A big body?
Yeah, and a big booty. A big booty.
Booty.
Yeah.
Not a little boot, but...
yeah, like a ass. You should see it. And really tiny, and
Look at her butt.
Oh, no.
There's a problem with the gravity,
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. So you have a tiny thing that is affecting the rest of everything else as though it's very big.
Yeah.
Right. Seems unlikely.
I was sure about that.